That was absolutely perfect right there, wasn't it?
That was pretty well done.
All right. We're doing a mic check right now. Can you see us? Can you hear us? And we will get started with the show, everybody. Let's look, y'all. All right.
Anybody, can you see us? Can you hear us?
Let us know.
Let us know.
Immediately so we can get started.
And Holloway says, all good. Sound
Perfect.
and video good. Lady Wolf says, let's get this shit show on the road.
Oh, that's a good way to start out.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jessi. This is Joe. And in our tagline today, we are Bigfoot Weirdos. And we're going to kind of get into that today, kind of where we are at on this whole thing and where we're at in the whole realm of weird and high strangeness and where we kind of want to go with it. So we'll get into all of that, but we're going to take care of some housekeeping stuff first. We wanted to remind you, since we're getting closer and closer, that October 14th and 15th, we will be at the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con. That's in Montgomery Bell State Park in Tennessee. You can go into the description below here and hit that link and you can get tickets for that event. So make sure that you have tickets, find some lodging. I know that the Montgomery Bell State Park Lodge is either sold out or pretty dang
getting pretty close to it.
So my friend had to actually get an Airbnb to come out and see us. So make sure you check that out. Go ahead and book early. That way you guys can stay and check everything out. We're going to be speaking on Saturday, and that's the day that Ron Moorhead will.
We are speaking right before Ron Moorhead.
We are speaking right before
the opening act.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get to introduce Ron Moorhead, I guess.
Yeah.
Be the opening act. We're the opening act. Yeah.
We're the opening act.
Yeah, we're the support band for Ron Moorhead and the Moorheadettes. Yeah. So we're speaking right before him, midday on Saturday, and then there's going to be a Q&A panel at the end of the day with everybody that was on stage that day. So we actually get to be in a Q&A panel with the man himself, Ron Moorhead. Right now, I'm reading through the Quantum Bigfoot again, just so I am primed up and good. So make sure you guys, if you haven't read his book, The Quantum Bigfoot, that you pick up a copy of that and read that before you come and listen to him speak, because I know he's going to talk a lot about some of the material that's in that book, and it's good to have that basis before you watch him speak. Yeah. He talks about, of course, the Sierra sounds. Now, Hellbent Holler, us, we are going to be talking about, well, I'm going to be doing most of the talking. Joe is the...
I don't speak. I'm the teller of the Penn and Teller Act there. So I just stand there and look.
Joe will speak a little bit if I need a little something here and there, but I do most of the presentation. He's the slide man. He hits the next button. He's pretty good at that.
Button finger.
Look at that thing.
So, yeah.
So he's going to be doing that, and I'll be speaking, and I'm going to talk about field investigations and conducting field investigations on the paranormal and the occult and basically any kind of high strangeness that we encounter, because it's really a cross spectrum kind of thing that we do. And we've had to innovate when it comes to this space. And we've really kind of created a whole new genre of how this works.
Yeah.
And we've had to kind of do a lot of workarounds and develop our own system and develop our own way of doing things, because we're pioneers of the paranormal when it comes to this kind of thing. So I'm going to be talking about that, because that's what we're the best at, is field investigations and diving into these subjects with a very hands-on approach.
Not just going by the narrative that's been developed by lots of people, but actually going in and going, I hear what you're telling me, but I want to experience it for myself.
Right,
you know?
right. So I'm going to be talking all about that. There's going to be a lot of, I'll be talking about some of the expeditions that we've had, but also some practical information when it comes to actually doing field investigations. So if you guys attend that, you guys can get some of the ins and outs of what we do and how we go about doing it. And I'm really excited about that. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, we don't usually do these, but this one, the lineup, it's going to be, Ron Moorhead's going to be there. We're going to be there. Martin Groves is going to be there.
Yep. Make sure you guys are also still praying for our boy, Martin Groves. Yeah. He is still ill. And he's just really, he appreciates all of those prayers and kind words, and taking the time to really think about him and send him your good vibes and healing vibes and everything. Whatever you practice, whatever you do, just send some good stuff Martin Grove's way. He's a great friend of ours. He's a family member of ours, and we want to make sure that he's getting as much positive healing vibes as possible, and that he can come and speak and be a part of that weekend, because it's going to be one for the books for sure.
Yep.
We sent him what did we send him? We sent him a dozen beef jerky roses.
Beef jerky roses. Yeah. There's a place that makes roses out of beef jerky. So we sent him a dozen meat flowers.
Meat flowers? That sounds like a derogative term.
Because we wanted to send him something as opposed to just like phone calls or like a card. It's Martin Groves. He's just going to look at a get well card and go, what the hell's this? So we were looking at stuff, and I'm like, well, maybe we can.
He's not going to like wipe his ass
like
with
a
it.
fruit
Jesus.
basket. And Jesse's going, it's Martin. No, like sort of meat products we can send him.
Martin and I have a meat exchange program going. So it's because he always brings me Vienna sausages. Of various flavors and types. So yeah, we sent him that, and he seemed to enjoy it. So what was it? What was the thing? Was Manly Man Company or something like that?
It was the Manly Man Company. Yeah. So I think it was. So
oh, all right.
And then real quick, while we're on here, before we get into this, make sure you're still subscribed to us. You were at work one night, but we had a night that I was just going, God, did we say something like more controversial than usual? Because we just had like a huge dip in subscribers. Talking to a couple other people, they experienced the same thing around the same time.
Yeah.
So maybe just kind of check, make sure that you're still subscribed, because it looks like quite a few people got unsubscribed against their will.
Periodically, that'll happen, where people will all of a sudden just become unsubscribed, or they have their notifications change, and that's usually with a new rollout of something going on the platform. So make sure that you are still subscribed. I'm sure if you got a notification for this show, you are, but just double check that you are. That way you don't miss anything coming up.
Paul Pooley likes your hat.
I like your hat. It's cool. Thank you. Occult Crimes Task Force. I wore this to get groceries today. I went to Angles, and I was checking out, and the guy that was ringing me up was like, are you part of the police department? And I went, no. And I
told her it was a missed opportunity, because she should have just looked at him and go, why? Have you either been a victim of or been a perpetrator of an occult crime? You're on my radar, buddy. So
we're a new division.
Eyes in the Woods says, yep, he was unsubscribed. I am back.
Okay.
Somebody got in touch with us and went, why did you unsubscribe me? And I just went, well, you don't have that ability to unsubscribe you. It's YouTube.
If we could do that, we would unsubscribe a couple of people.
Yeah, we would unsubscribe a few people, but we don't have that ability. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. So just make sure that you guys are subscribed. And as always, tell your friends about it. Share the page, share the videos, and get us out there. Where are we at right now? We're at almost 13,000.
Almost at 13,000.
We're almost at 13,000. Can you believe we're entering into?
We've done most of that just over the past year.
Yeah, because we were just
dicking around for the first year doing this. And then started getting serious about it.
Dicking around with Jessi and Joe.
So
cool. All right. Make sure you do that. All right. So, you got anything else on here?
Nope.
While I was babbling?
Just Jay Myers wanted to know if you're a fan of spam.
Jay Myers. I am a fan of spam. I am.
I don't think that anybody is surprised about that.
So, I like fried spam. I'll eat spam raw.
Why can't everybody be like James Barker? Triple subscribed.
He makes like accounts for his dog and subscribes to that. Yeah. Everybody is double subscribed, triple subscribed. It's like super secret triple subscribed. All right.
Zatochi, my first time chatting ever. Welcome to the chat.
Hello.
Welcome to the chat. So, all right, what do you got on the agenda today? What you got?
All right. So we'll start out as usual with us going into weird UAP directions. We've been talking about UAP stuff a lot lately.
Well, it seems like they kind of died after you had Gorsuch come out.
Yeah.
went to the top of everybody's, like,
everybody was losing their collective minds.
And then it kind of died a little bit. And then that hit piece came out on him talking about that. Oh, he had suffered PTSD. Don't believe a word this guy said.
Yeah.
And then there was the backlash to the backlash. Everybody going, that's pretty crappy and pretty
That
low.
hit piece, what publication was that with? Do we know?
I can't remember
offhand.
what it was.
I was just thinking, it was New York Post that did that had that basement office thing.
Yeah.
And they were all about all of this UAP stuff and UFO stuff. And then all of a sudden it turned on a dime. And then all of a sudden everything is BS and everything's a lie.
Everything's a lie. Everybody's liars are involved with it. Everybody's like getting rich off of it.
You have this whole thing that's basically you want to be Mulder from X-Files, and you have this basement office crap, and you have your little set with your map on the wall with the thread from each spot,
Well, the big stuff that's come up, and again, we talk about UAP news because that's the news nowadays. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a lot of Bigfoot news coming out. You don't see a lot of Dogman news. So.
I asked Joe, I was like, because we were kind of doing some show prep stuff today. We were talking about different stuff and what we kind of wanted to talk about today.
It's the debrief that did that. So
the debrief did not do the hit piece. No.
The debrief is
that is Micah Hanks' publication.
It's not the debrief.
No, debrief did not do a hit piece where they talked about his PTSD and his drinking problem and his friend offing himself. It was a major news outlet that did that. It was who was it? I don't know who it was. It wasn't the debrief because they're the ones that actually came out with the initial story. I don't know.
I can't find it. So.
They were the ones that came out with the initial story from the New York Times writers. So, all right. But we were talking about this today, and we're like, there is never any new Bigfoot news.
It's just, there'll be little articles going, area woman sees Bigfoot in backyard.
Yeah.
But then it's just, but there's some credible stuff coming out on the UAP front. And like you and I always talk about, there's direct parallels between UAPs and other forms of weirdness, just because similarities in the phenomena itself, but then the fact that we hope that the kind of respectability that UAPs are getting right now, other types of weirdness are going to follow eventually.
So are you suggesting that the UAP disclosure movement that's going on and all these events surrounding that are sort of
the gateway drug?
It's like the little gray canary in the coal mine kind of thing.
Yes. So, but some of the cool stuff that came out was, remember that Las Vegas family? Saw the aliens in their backyard. Well, they went into hiding afterwards.
Well, they got inundated with people showing up at their house, and then all of these reporters came out.
They got a lawyer who was threatening to sue people because people were just trying to news teams were showing up trying to climb their fence. So, well, they came back out and basically we went into hiding. We didn't go into hiding because we were lying. People are crazy. We had to go into hiding for our own safety. We're standing by our story.
Yeah.
Okay. And this really happened. Now, one of the things, the reason why I kind of got into the news again is they released some drawings of the aliens. And what it reminded me of? Remember the leprechaun in the tree?
My God.
Yeah, literally. The drawings were not. Here's the deal. I can't draw. I can barely write.
How did I know you were going to talk about that leprechaun?
I can barely write my name. I have the worst handwriting imaginable. But,
everybody who's seen the leprechaun say, hey.
Yeah, but I think that's why it kind of hit the news again, is because the drawings were so bad. And again, I ain't judging because I'm just as bad about it. But it
Are you popping them up?
I'm popping it up. So,
popping it up.
Yeah, that was a drawing. So yeah, needless to say, it didn't go over too well,
Well,
but what's interesting? Let me throw something else your way.
Throw it.
Let me bust it at you. This is pretty small right now, but if you look, see where it would be its right hip, not your right. It would be on your left, but it would be the creature's right hip.
Yeah.
See that little protuberance there, that little bump that's there? All right. So here's something that I found interesting that nobody seems to be talking about. And I should have been prepared for this, but I wasn't. Okay.
Oh gosh.
No, I'm being serious right now. This is what is. Okay. It's interesting, and it's just interesting. So let's stop that. So you guys saw that little bump on its hip there. Well, alien bodies that they had on that Mexico.
Oh, the desiccated
little bodies. See those bumps on the hips there?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was just kind of weird that they obviously, that was not a mistake. They did a few lines there making that bump in the hip.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, wait, where did I see bumps on the hip with aliens recently? It was the Mexican UFO hearings where they trotted out these little desiccated bodies that they think are mummified aliens.
Which has now been like a meme sensation. That it was like the people have made like cakes for birthdays and stuff.
Well, here's the deal. Again, it's the ridicule machine. Okay.
Yeah.
We always talk about the boggle factor. There's another thing too. It's called the giggle factor. If you can make somebody giggle about it, they instantly just don't take it. Now it's just a big joke at that point. And like we talked about earlier, Jess and I were talking about how the news is ebbing and flowing right now with it, with the UAP phenomenon. And I think that what happened is that the powers that be weren't prepared for this to get taken seriously. But the powers that be were so used to, no matter who came forward, no matter what sort of evidence came out, even what sort of like anything that came out, they knew was instantly going to be ridiculed and then just forgotten, except by like the hardcore, like UFO, like, people that were really into that.
By the way, Mike A says, hey, not everybody can draw like Barton.
That's true. So, all right. But I think that they were caught off guard by the fact that that New York Times article that came out that started all this, that it got some traction. And I think now they've regrouped. And now I think that ridicule machine is in overdrive at this point. So yes, I think that anything that comes out right now, and there's going to be some ridiculous stuff that comes out. We all know that, but I think that everything that comes out is going to have instantly be the subject of memes and internet jokes and everything like that, because it delegitimizes it. You know what I'm saying? It makes it illegitimate at that point. Yeah. Now it's just no longer a serious discussion. We're getting back into that National Enquirer,
Bat Boy.
Yeah, Bat Boy type thing. So, all right. But as soon as I saw that article, the first thing that I thought was definitely the fact that the leprechaun in the tree. And for those of you who have never seen it, I laugh every time I see that damn thing. It's awesome. So
you have to.
My computer's running like super freaking slow right now. So tell everybody a little bit about the leprechaun in the tree story, just to.
God, that was like one of the first like viral videos that came out. I think it was in Montgomery, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Montgomery, Alabama. It was in Alabama, but they said that everybody in the neighborhood said that they saw a leprechaun in the tree. This guy popped out with a piece of PVC pipe painted gold and said, "This is a magical flute handing down." What else? They're like, "I want the gold," and then they asked this old lady, and she goes,
"It's kind of small, but that was the witness sketch, the amateur sketch of what they saw." And as soon as I saw
people have that tattooed on them now,
because it's brilliant.
But they asked the old lady like what it was, and she goes, "That was a crackhead. It got hold of the wrong stuff."
Yep, but
that was like one of the first like viral videos that hit the internet in a big way.
But the big thing is that these people came out and they're being dead serious. They just can't draw. Okay?
Yeah,
and I can't draw either. All right, that doesn't mean that their encounter needs to be like just completely ridiculed, but that's what people are going to latch onto right now, and that's what the media latched onto right now. And I'm kind of going, well, you should have been a little self-aware, Las Vegas family. You should have known that if you put this forward, like as if I went, "Oh my Lord, I had this alien sighting in the backyard, and here's my drawing, and it's this terrible stick figure," you're at least going to look at me and go, "Please don't show that to anybody.
Yeah,
just describe it, honey.
Yeah,
okay, just describe it.
Yeah,
let's burn that while we're at it, okay?
Cut off your hands so you can't do it again.
They led with that, and now it's back to the story. Instead of it going, "Wow, these people are sticking to this story. There might be something here." Now it's like, "Oh Lord, it's gotten even crazier. Look at this stupid ass drawing."
What's weird is that kid, he released a video on he has like a YouTube channel that has literally one video on it.
Yeah.
And it's where he's telling his story and he's talking about it. In the process of him releasing that video, it coming out and everybody watching it, he got a ton of subscribers.
Yeah. And then he never did anything else
with it. So like he could be monetized, he could be making money off of videos, but he's not released a single thing. And
Nope.
people would watch them. So he could be making money off of a YouTube
Mhm.
channel of him just on there, just talking, even if it was nonsense or whatever. So if this was like a financially motivated sort of thing, wouldn't he take advantage of that? Wouldn't he upload a video on there kind of updating?
So far, it doesn't look like they have it doesn't look like they have really monetized. They've not really gained anything from this. It's just caused them a giant headache.
Yeah.
And the best thing for them to do would be to go, God, let this please be over with. Let's never mention this again. The news cycle will move on to the next thing. But instead they come out going, not letting this go. This literally happened. We are not lying.
And there's like a $78 million like F-35 missing right now. Somebody was talking about it in the chat.
Yeah, they actually went out over like North Carolina, I saw. So
as usual, I'm listening to old episodes of Art Bell, and there is a really expensive plane like missing, and they think the pilot went Broken Arrow during that period. I think it's 1997, because I think the Heaven's Gate cult just offed themselves in the mansion in Florida and California. So apparently that happens.
We got a lot of cool things in the chat. Let's start to jump into some of this stuff.
Let's do it.
So, one person wanted to know, how many lumens is my flashlight? I'm using a Phoenix TK22 TAC is what I'm using right now, but we update our flashlights pretty often. I want to say it is, I don't know, like 4,000 lumens, but it's really, really, really focused. But I'll have to look those stats up and get that. What else we got? Somebody goes, okay, Robert Randolph, maybe the recent decline of Bigfoot sightings is because of the time of the year. Maybe they aren't moving around much now. Possibly.
Well, I mean, if you think that these are like migratory animals, they would be moving. If you think they're migratory. Now, if you think that they're an animal that is akin to like a bear that would hibernate, wouldn't they be packing on the pounds for the winter? So they'd be out and about in the woods a lot.
Well,
they would start the process of eating and preparing for winter. Or, I don't think they're going to go into hibernation this early. Or if you think that that's what they do, I don't think any of this, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
There's actually, and what's crazy is that there's and I don't know if it's been disproved because I haven't kept up with the thought process or the theories on it, but there was a theory at one point that some types of human like hibernated. They think that Neanderthal especially hibernated or had a semi-torpor state that they went into over the wintertime. So it's not out of the ordinary. I just don't know if these things are here all the time. I still stand by the fact that every time we're out somewhere really remote and really heavily wooded, I look around and go, maybe a small group could stay here for a while without being discovered, but like permanently, and then having enough genetic diversities to like, and again, I always go back to this too. Maybe I'm going to back up. I was going to say that maybe they're a species in decline and their numbers are dropping off. And if they had a big die off, then where are the bodies at? I just still.
Again, you're pressing upon it that it's a natural animal that behaves like natural animals.
Think it's natural animal.
And follows the patterns that natural animals have.
So anyway, Catherine, great. Thank you for that. In between paychecks, don't give anything you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
please don't
give anything you can't. Again, I still stand by that time we watched a show and somebody was going, this will leave me $20 until the end of the month. And I'm like, oh my God, give that money back. Yeah, don't do it. But thank you. So.
Cryptid response about the whole migratory thing. I don't think that they are migratory, but to answer the question, this is the time of year that they should be most active. Mating season for a whole lot of animals is about to kick off.
All right. What else we got? Fab Mies, on the topic of the Vegas U, the NSA installed a camera behind the house of the family, and they put cameras on the whole street. I'd heard that the Las Vegas Sheriff's Department, I thought, had done that. I might have come out that it was the NSA. It definitely seems like there is the cover-up machine kicked into high gear. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't a slow news cycle right now. There's some stuff going on that you don't need to really kind of, hey, let's go to this goofy Las Vegas UFO story that has a few months out of date because you need something to cover. I think they're doing it because they need to make sure that it's good and ridiculed, and then it's just
so if anything else comes out, the groundwork is already laid.
Groundwork's already laid, man.
Yeah.
Groundwork is all.
Of course, everybody else is going to say that. What are they distracting you from? That's really going on, but that's true to some degree. So you can't ridicule that either. That some of this is possibly a distraction. Campaign,
Yeah, I mean, it might be, but at the same token.
But then wouldn't they be playing it up as real?
Yeah, that's where I keep going to. It just, to me, I still think there's two factions behind them. There's two groups fighting for control. I don't think either one of them has like the public's best interests at heart. There's not some like brave, unsung heroes out there fighting for the truth. No, they just want control like everybody else does. Yeah. And that's what's going on. Thank you for that, Montana Ryan.
James Parker said, dumb and aroused animals make easy pickings. Why do you think being a stripper is a very, very lucrative career path?
You shouldn't have said that. Now people are going to go, Jessi stripping. Does Greenville even have a strip club?
Lust?
Well, that's a good name for it.
Trophy Club?
Trophy Club. So
I think they're both by the airport.
That's where all the best strip clubs are. Tiffany Cooper, where do you get your pheromone kits for Bigfoot and Dogman? I'm interested in starting on field investigation myself, and I have no idea where to start. The company that made pheromone kits for Bigfoot has stopped making them. I guess that wasn't a real lucrative field.
What's crazy is they stopped making them, and then Expedition Bigfoot did that pheromone thing from the drone that they stole from Alex and them.
I think it was like Tate Hieronymus had started the drone with the pheromone stuff coming out of it. But so then now that there's like all this demand for them, they ain't making them now. So
do you think anybody else is going to pick up that mantle?
How would you? I think because that was
that's a pretty specialized thing.
That was actually a lab. They do the parent company of that does a lot of like scent based fishing lures and hunting, like deer urine and stuff like that. So I guess they got a guy at the zoo, I guess. They got a guy.
So do you know offhand if the pheromones are actual pheromones or they are synthetic pheromones?
They are. Well, here's the deal. They are ape and human reproductive
estrus scent.
Yes. Yeah. So it's whether
are they synthetic? Like, are they created in a lab, or are they
supposedly they were natural?
They mined from the source?
I think they got you mean like they're milking the gorillas or something like that? So I don't know. Supposedly they were. I can't say. I want to say I thought they were natural, but I can't swear to that.
They're swabbing the apes.
Some $6 million man technology in there, man. They're in there synthesizing like ape horny hormones there. Thank you for that, Gary. $25.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Gary,
Intense Tornado asked, is the Tennessee Wildman Con going to be covered live on YouTube anywhere? I don't believe so.
We'll
probably do a quick little live from there, just showing what
I'm going to do. Like. I'll do a lot of stuff from the event. If you're definitely not able to go, pay attention to the channel, have your notifications on and everything, because I'm going to be posting stuff throughout the weekend. I'm going to try to broadcast as much as I can and post as much as I can, and pay attention to my Instagram because I'll be posting videos and photos and everything there. And on Instagram, I'm at Hellbent Jessi. So I'll be covering the event from my perspective as much as possible. So if you guys can't make it to the event, just follow my socials and follow the channel here, and you should be able to kind of get the 411.
The 411. So anyway, let's put this Vegas thing to bed and let's just move on. I still think that with the way I saw the story handled when they came back out, any doubt that I had in my mind that this was a real incident kind of went away.
Yeah.
And I'm going, before I was kind of on the fence about whether something happened or not. Now I'm kind of going, something happened. I don't know what happened.
Well, now everybody's ridiculing him about the stupid drawing.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as
it's going to get worse, they're really going to, recede back.
As quick as the news cycle is, this should be old news. and this shouldn't have gotten any attention at all. And instead, they're just going, look how stupid these people are.
So if stuff is cycling back around, do you think the Peru face peeler story is going to cycle back around anytime soon?
I think that...
or is that easy to just close the chapter?
It's a Peruvian village, man.
Yeah.
They were talking about how...
the village could be razed and we wouldn't even know.
That village could be gone right now, as far as we know. I mean, it was like, what, 4 hours by boat?
It's 10 hours.
10 hours by boat. So, yeah, that's really easy to shut down. A 21st century American family in a major American city is not so easy to shut down.
Yeah.
So, Danny Kopak, what is next on your investigation? I'm glad you asked. So what's coming up?
Oh, that's a big can of worms.
That's a big can of worms.
Okay, so we can go into that. Are you ready to go into that?
Yeah, jump into that one.
Okay. So we of course have been going out and filming every week. And I've got 2 videos. I know I was supposed to release a video on Sunday and I did not. My parents were still in town, but we still went out and we still did our investigation. Those are not like barn burner type things.
We find some prints.
We find some prints and stuff like that. I'm editing all that stuff down. That might be a release that I do during the week. I don't know if I'm going to actually release it on Sunday or not. I'll release that stuff when I get it done. But that's going to be just some field investigation type stuff. But we have been working on a little idea that we kind of kicked around the past couple of weeks on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've kind of refined out what we're going to do. And thanks to you guys really suggesting that we go out and do something kind of crazy on the Equinox.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to go out on the Equinox, which is September 23rd. And we are going to go out on the Equinox and actually do a really crazy experiment that we've been talking about doing for a couple of years now. But we're going to take the opportunity of the Equinox to actually go out and do this. We're going to return to an area. Do you want to tell what area?
Nope.
Not specifically, but
we're returning to an area.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to, the phenomenon associated with it or not.
No.
Okay. So we're going to return to an area from a video that all of you guys really freaking liked, and it was crazy, and it was probably one of the most important videos we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to return to that area where that event occurred and where that stuff went on, and we're going to go out there, and we've built a piece of tech that is nobody's ever done this before.
People have tried facets of it,
but not all of this.
Not all of it, but they've tried facets in different
disciplines.
Yeah. So we're going to go out. We've got a piece of tech that we're going to use. And we're going to use it over the Equinox to see if we can. It's portable, so it doesn't have a ton of power. But what we're going to be doing is to see if we can try to lure something in with it, draw something in.
Yeah.
We're calling it the beacon, as a matter of fact, is what we're calling it.
The piece of equipment that we've put together.
And it's going to evolve over time. This is going to be its first run. And we've kind of alluded to it in the past, but we're going to be emitting stuff on the electromagnetic spectrum. And similar to some of the stuff we've detected in the past, like on our equipment, on our EMF and our tri-fields and our spectrum analyzers, we're going to try to generate similar signals on the Equinox in an area where we've experienced strange phenomenon ourselves before, correct?
Yes.
And we're going to see if it draws anything in. So a lot of people were very generous with us over the last couple of weeks. If you remember when we were in the Uwari and we got those weird signals at that graveyard, it fried one of our spectrum analyzers. So we ended up using some of the money that people were kind enough to contribute. And we got an upgraded spectrum analyzer. And then we've gotten one of the things that's always a part of the Bigfoot and cryptid lore is that these things can see in infrared. And even though that should be biologically impossible for warm-blooded animals to see in infrared, it seems like that's what's actually going on, because we put out game cams before. It seems like these things can somehow detect it and react to it.
There's also an interesting thing.
Okay.
Talking about the game cam aspect of it. We'll talk about that in a second. Go on. And then let me go
part of
back
it
to
too
that.
is we got a handful of infrared beacons. Now these are at a real high infrared wavelength, not like the little slightly visible dots, red dots that you see on like, infrared cameras and stuff like that, or on security cams. This is a very high wavelength. Won't travel as far, but it will be completely invisible to the naked eye. But if these things can detect it, it's going to be a novel light source that they don't normally see.
Because it's high intensity.
It's very high frequency, and it's going to be going off in a strobe pattern. So hopefully
commonly,
that will also lure something in.
Yeah.
That'll be part of what we've done. So we got a handful of those too. They just actually showed up today. So we're not going to talk too much about it until we unveil it. But yeah, that is our plan for the Equinox, is to take the Equinox has a lot of importance in folklore and tradition. It's a liminal time. It's a crossover time. It's that time between.
It is the exact midpoint between the winter solstice and the summer solstice, which the summer solstice is the longest day of the year, and the winter solstice is the longest night of the year. Yeah. The autumn equinox, it is day and night are equal, as above, so below. Everything is in balance during the equinox. It's the time of harvest. It's a really, really important date for a lot of reasons, both cosmically, spiritually. There's a lot of lore associated with the equinox, and I think it's a cool idea for us to kind of combine some super science and sorcery.
Thundar approach, man, the super science and sorcery.
And take advantage of that time of year and that specific date and see if we can draw something out, or if we can open something up.
So we are going to be out a couple days before. That Friday, we're going to be setting some stuff up. We're going to be getting back into an area with signal. We're going to be on Josh Turner's show Friday at 11 p.m. Is that this Friday?
Yes.
Yes, we're going to be on Paranormal Roundtable briefly with Josh Turner at 11 p.m. and Eastern time. And then as soon as we're done,
we are going to the location to
going back out, and then we'll be there the next 2 nights doing stuff with this to see what we can do, to see if that time of the year, because we had some weird stuff happen in the LBL on the summer solstice. We've gone out on the equinox in the past, but we've just been out kind of just like looking to see what we can see. This time we are going to try to specifically entice something.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to try to we're going to dangle a hook and a worm and see what we can draw in at that point. And again, we're going to be broadcasting on several different types of energy out.
Kind of cover all the bases and all, like a ton of different spectrums. So,
and this is going to evolve over time, but this is going to be its trial run. We're going to see what happens,
because we have never actually tested out using all of these pieces of equipment combined into one thing to do this. We've never actually done that before, and I guess we're going to hit the switch.
We're going to hit the switch. We're going to see what happens
out in the field and see what happens and see if anything happens. There's also the possibility, because the equinox is a time for ritual, there's also the possibility that there could be a human element involved in us going out there. You remember in the past, and in several of our videos we've released, we have found evidence of occult activity up in these wooded areas, and all kinds of different areas. North Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina.
We were out this weekend, and we're following an old forestry road that's been closed down for years. And Jessi goes, look at this and tell me whether this is like natural or this looks like it was made. It was like a stick structure. And I'm going, well, the sticks were cut.
The sticks were cut and formed into a triangle.
And we're going,
like we found in North Georgia.
And then I'm also going, all right, it's not recent. You can tell it's old. The sticks were very, very old at that point. But there's weird stuff going out in the woods, but that's going to be something else that we have to take into account. That
we have to be concerned, because that is a time of year when ritual could be taking place out there, depending on who these people are, what they believe in, what they worship, what kind of rituals they conduct. So there is a possibility that we could run into occultists in the woods while we're doing this. That could be an element of danger that we're facing, as well as the element of danger of what happens if we open the door. What happens if we draw a physical thing in.
Yeah. So we're going to be,
it's going to be a wild one.
It's going to be a wild one. So it is going to be a wild one. We'll see what happens with it, and we will go from there. I got a lot of stuff started here real quick. So that was our next investigation. And that ties into, again, we upgraded, we took advantage since we had to replace some spectrum analyzers. I actually upgraded, not today, Saban's on here. I'd asked his opinion on a couple of these, and I've reached out to a couple other people, but because we're going to be using a few of these together as signal generators as well, not just detecting RF signals. We're going to be generating RF signals as well. And again, it's not going to be super strong. It's not going to be a strong signal, but if the time of the year is right, and given where we're at, it won't have to be. Okay. It should be just enough just to get something's attention. Maybe.
Walter Ballard says that September 23rd is supposed to be crazy, according to YouTube posts.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and here's the deal.
There's a lot of buzz around September 23rd.
A lot of buzz around it. And at first I went, this is TikTok, just nonsense. However, there's so many people talking about it right now. There's so much mental energy being expended on it.
That if you believe in the Tulpa effect, then something crazy will happen on the 23rd.
So at this point, there might be just enough frenzy whipped up about it that something might happen. So, yeah, so we're going out. So this is going to be a big one. We're going to go out. It's weird. We're not going out with everything we've got because given the nature of the experiment we're doing, we might have to move pretty quick. But we are going to be very strategic in what we take out. We are going to focus on this equipment that we're taking out. And then we're going to go pretty light on cameras, probably a full spectrum and probably a thermal. And then we're going to probably ring the area with probably every audio recorder we have.
I might drop the psionics into my pack just to have a backup in case of light phenomenon occurring. Fine. So I'll probably tote the psionics with me. I know that somebody in the chat here, we were throwing up. Where's that at? Where it be?
Where it be?
You start it. There it is. Denny Kopic said you should investigate the area around the Brown Mountain lights. And it was followed up by Mike A saying, I agree, Denny, Brown Mountain deserves a round too. So
we'll probably go there in the fall.
Yeah.
We will not live stream from the spot again.
No.
Because that's a recognizable spot and we don't need the
drama,
but we will film what we're doing and release it.
We want to get that Psionics Pro. We might go before we get the Psionics Pro because we can go up there before we do that. But I'd like to have the Psionics Pro for another round of Brown Mountain.
We'll probably do that.
So because the footage that we got was with the Psionics Aurora Sport, and that's a very, very awesome full color night vision camera. However, the Pro is going to be so much better. And then if we see the phenomenon, if the phenomenon presents itself to us again, especially in the manner that it presented itself to us before, that Psionics Pro, you're going to have bam.
Well, the other thing too is
crazy footage.
We weren't expecting the light show to go on as long as it did.
Right.
The Psionics we have, there's not a whole lot of difference between sensors. The thing is that the Pro has a much longer recording capacity because we were all of a sudden going, we're getting ready to run out of memory on this. Because I mean, that went on, kept going on and on. We kept filming and I'm going, we're running out of memory here. So now we carry some extra because it only takes up to 32 gigabyte like memory cards. We carry a few extra, but that means we got to take it apart, reinsert the card. It ain't something you can do real fast.
Yeah.
The Pro, I think you can put up like a terabyte SD card in there, record all damn night with that if we need to. So, boy, Marcus Aurelius, $9.99. Thank you, sir.
Did you do that?
What's that?
You put one up.
Well, we'll get back to it. So, Marcus, thank you for that, sir. Quite generous as always. Do you think holograms will be used in UFO false flag government psyops against the American people to meet certain objectives unknown to us at this time? I know Rabbit Hole Central, just curious. I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? A couple of years ago, I used to think the whole
Project Blue
Beam thing was just like not possible. And now I'm just going, can't say that anymore. It's possible. And then because I would always go, well, it's so well known, nobody would fall for it. Everybody would go, this is Project Blue Beam. But now I'm going, I don't think that's the case at all. I think there'd be a small group of people going, this is Project Bluebeam, and then the other 99% of the population would be going, we got some alien deniers over here, guys. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that's not trying to dodge the question. It's just that I've now realized that I don't have as firm a grasp on reality and how humanity would react to that reality as I used to.
I think what we've all learned over the past few years is people
never say never.
Yeah, people in society react in very surprising ways. And you would think that people's level people really surprise you with their reaction.
Yes.
I mean, you remember the shelves were empty of toilet paper for a long time.
It's very
people
weird.
are like stabbing each other over toilet paper.
Yeah,
so let's not lose sight of what we have witnessed occur. So you don't know what exactly the reaction would be or what would happen. Yeah. However, every time I hear the word hologram, I think about, do you remember that period? It was not that long ago where they were trying to do hologram concerts with like Tupac.
Yeah, but here's the deal. That's commercially available technology.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
That was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, but like they were making some pretty decent little holograms there.
So I don't know,
so man. The technology is there.
I don't have a grasp on what it is. I don't have a grasp. I can't say that it would not happen any longer. But, and that's, again, I always go back to this, is that I got a lot more sleep when I thought that Bigfoot was just a
monkey in the woods,
was a relic hominid. Okay. Because now I'm laying in bed at night reading stuff, and then I'm just laying there going, we're not prepared for this stuff, but I don't think anybody's prepared for this stuff. Okay. Like I said, the thing we're going to try on the Equinox, it may not work at all. You know what I'm saying? I might just look back at it and go, I mean, we can use the individual components for stuff, but my thought process is that we have detected certain signals with some of this phenomena.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked about Skinwalker Ranch. When we had that thing, when we saw that anomalous light, and then the next day we were picking up that weird RF signal, people were going, they're doing that at Skinwalker Ranch too. And we were going, all right, we have to look into that. And I'm going, holy crap, they're experiencing that times 10 at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
So there seems to be an association with that. Weird electromagnetic fields, weird RF signals. We're going to take all of these elements that seem to be associated with the phenomena, and we're going to pump them out ourselves and see if it attracts anything. Okay. And it may not work. It may not work at all. We might just look at each other and go, well, this was a relaxing night in the woods, but it's worth a shot because nobody's tried it before. We're going to try to like broadcast across multiple spectrums some weird stuff and see if we get weird stuff coming in, at least to check it out.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think when I was brainstorming with somebody, they were going, well, you're not going to be able to open a portal. I'm going, no, because we don't. I mean, even if that's possible, you're talking some either very precise frequencies or a lot of power, and probably both.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to do that. That's why we came up with that idea of the beacon.
Yeah.
We ain't creating nothing. We're trying to draw something in that might be there already and might be a little bit more active on this type of night of the year. So
yeah, I think we were discussing this the other day, and it's not that we don't want to, we don't think we can open the door, but we're trying to bring something in that has the
door's
key.
already open, man.
Something that has the key that could open the door.
Door's already open.
So we're going to experiment with that. I've got a little anxiety about it now. I'm just kind of thinking about this, and but yeah, that's going to be quite an experiment.
Not today, Simone. We've actually got a handful of significant times that we're going to be doing stuff. We're not going to go into when, just because of obvious reasons, but yeah, we've got some ideas up. And as a matter of fact, James Barker had asked for a knife check. We don't have knives tonight because Jessi's actually.
Yeah. So we've discussed this before on our lives, and I think I've discussed this in videos, that Joe and I carry certain knives and weaponry out into the woods. We always carry our 10mm Glocks on our chest. We do vary our knives and bladed weapons depending on the event. We will be carrying these this weekend.
These are our raccoon tomahawks that Jessi has done some weird little mojo on, but
I do have a protection ritual that I do on all of our weaponry that we take out in the woods. But these are our matching raccoon tomahawks.
Yep.
I've got the little version. He's got the big version.
We got
but they're handmade by the McCoon family.
Yeah, and we were talking to the McCoon sons. If you're not familiar with them, they're a family of bladesmiths. And we were looking at them.
You can take a little look at that. They're
and
very rustic.
We were going, oh yeah, we need these, man. These will be awesome. And he goes, oh, you guys gonna use them out like when you're hiking? We were like, we're kind of like amateur monster hunters, man. And he was just like, well, right on, man. Those will work real well for that. And we were just like, sold. So
yeah, so we're gonna carry the McCoons for the whole Equinox event this weekend, and go out there, and at least we'll be armed with these. I've got to do a ritual over all of these. I'm going to try to do that as close to the equinox as I can, so that we go out there loaded for bear.
Ghetto Yeti's got a great thing. The September 23 thing is heavy on the law of fives. If you can elaborate that on why that is heavy on the law of fives, plus all the chatter is definitely collating and condensing into major energy that's going to be felt across the board from what I've seen. So there you go. That's gonna be
wild if
we ain't. And Melanie goes, make sure you close anything you open up. We're not opening anything. Again, I don't think that anybody needs to open anything, because I think it's already open. I think it's already open.
Yeah, like I said before, we are returning to an area where we have experienced really, really insane stuff.
The phenomena is already there. We just want to attract it into the same location that we are in. So, but I don't think that we are going to be able to open anything, nor would I try to do that. But I think that we are going to maybe, hopefully, get the attention of something that's already there.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Denny Kopic asks, is there any way to investigate the woods below the Brown Mountain Lights? You can access that area. That is a wilderness area that's set aside, so you can actually hike through it if you wanted to and check it out. We do have plans to investigate that area later. But you know, that footage that we captured at the Brown Mountain Lights is probably the best footage. I think Micah Hanks actually said that we have the best footage of the Brown Mountain Lights ever captured. But you know, if we're able to capture that, imagine if we got to the area where these originated from on a night where we're actually capturing it, and we're able to actually get to the area in which they're originating from, what we would find and what we would see there. So eventually we would like to do that. That's sort of on our long-term plans of investigations that we want to do, is we really want to expand on the Brown Mountain Lights project as well.
Marcus Aurelius followed up. He goes, just curious with that fantastically huge triangle-shaped object filmed rotating over the Pentagon. Have you seen that?
No.
Let me put that in entertain the fine folks for a moment, honey, Pentagon.
Hello, fine folks. I'm here to entertain you just for a few minutes while Joe Googles this black triangle over the White House. Or wait, no, the Pentagon. The Pentagon. When was this?
I don't know.
2020?
I don't know.
Marcus, know. We'll check that out later.
Yeah, if you've got anything, you got our email, Marcus. If you can,
yeah, just shoot that over.
Shoot us.
I'm going to throw the email up on the screen. There it is.
We are behind in emails. I myself
perpetually.
I spent 4 hours the other night answering emails.
Yeah,
and I know you were on there until like almost 2 a.m. the other night.
Oh, reminded me. Yes, I know that I posted a short earlier today about this, but if you won something in our massive giveaway last week, it's on the way. It all went in the mail today. I've got tracking numbers. I'm going to be emailing you guys with your tracking numbers for your stuff. Unless it was just the stickers, that's just got a stamp on it. You just keep an eye on your box, because that's coming. But everything went out today, and it should keep an eye on your box.
No, I'm laughing.
I thought you're laughing because I was like, keep an eye on your box. I will email you guys your tracking numbers so that you guys can track your packages. Some people have T-shirts, some people have glasses, some people have hats. So I think one special person has what we call the kit and caboodle. It's everything.
Yep.
So all that stuff is en route. If you want to give away, keep an eye out, and I will be emailing you guys your tracking numbers so you guys can look out for that stuff and you don't miss your Hellbent Holler swag.
That one guy says, I do believe the sounds of metal crashing are a portal opening or closing.
A lot of people have speculated that that's what that is. We've discussed that several times, that could be possible alien machinery, that it could be a possible UAP related kind of thing, or it could be the sound of a portal opening and closing, because those sounds are associated with people just disappearing out of thin. They disappear. They're just gone.
Or my current pet theory, microwave auditory. phenomenon.
Yeah.
So where microwaves can stimulate your brain to hear, quote unquote, hear sounds that aren't there.
So the sound
And
is
it
not
comes
actually
across
happening.
very cacophonous, almost like metallic crashing. They did I can't remember the guy's name right now, but they were able to actually modulate it so that you could hear words.
Yeah.
But they could only do about 3 or 4 words before the heat would build up too much. And, you'd literally fry somebody's brain.
Could a physical entity
yes
create microwave?
Well, here's the deal. We don't know that.
Auditory
no physical entities here can do that.
But
I always just go with along the lines of something from like another reality, another dimension. Yeah. Maybe they emit stuff on the electromagnetic range like we shed dead skin cells. It just comes off us. Okay. So it's not possible with earthly life, but maybe something else somewhere, or maybe they can generate it at will using some sort of technology. Who knows? But I still go back to when I was reading up on microwave auditory phenomenon, and they were talking about how the people who originally were exposed to that and when they originally became aware of this, they were in proximity to radar systems on old fighter planes. And they were hearing crashing noises in their heads that weren't there. And as soon as I did that, I just went, well, I already think that a lot of this stuff, the zapping effect and everything like that, I think that's electromagnetic, not sound related.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I heard that, I went, another associated element of some of these weird phenomena that has an electromagnetic, parallel to it. So that's my current theory on it that I'm still kind of working through. And like all my other theories, it'll probably be hot for a couple of months with me, and then I'll move on to something else. So. Bronwyn says we've been high on emails for the past year. We're almost caught up, but I guarantee you we have missed some. We found a batch of older ones that had gone to spam for some reason.
And I actually went and labeled everything that I could. We're trying to organize everything up.
Especially people that were sending links or talking about websites for some reason that flagged it as spam for some reason. So if you have emailed us and it was something that you wanted to hear back on, we haven't answered you, feel free to go ahead and email us right now.
Yep.
Now that we know that that's a thing, we're checking spam more regularly than we used to. But I got a ton in there, man. They were like buried in it too. So.
Special thanks to anybody who sent us a letter or a card or anything to the P.O. box. I check that every week. And a huge thank you to you guys who have sent stuff there. I love getting all those letters that I get. It is highly appreciated, and we really appreciate you guys sending us those. Moran's Crew says, do you have any plans on going back to the LBL? Absolutely. We are absolutely going back to the LBL, and it was just recently announced that we're going to be going to the LBL with the Small Town Monsters crew. We are going to team up with Small Town Monsters, and they are going to feature us in a couple of their things that they do for the ongoing American Werewolves series, basically, right? The Dogman Triangle, American Werewolves, and they're going to do one focusing on the LBL and the Beast of LBL. And since we have probably some of the most publicized research in terms of like actual videos of being at the LBL, and
we're Johnny come latelys, but we put a lot of stuff out.
We've done a lot of investigations in the LBL, and we have done a lot of novel stuff out there and really kind of expanded on the knowledge of the LBL. They asked us to do that. They asked us to come and be a part of that. So Small Town Monsters, Hellbent Holler collab coming up.
So Barton Nunley had talked about artificially induced auditory hallucination. Barton, if you're out there still, look up something that's called the Frey effect, and it's microwave auditory effect or phenomenon. And it's the more you look into it and the more you read about some of the stuff that people have experienced and some of the experiments that were done, you start going, holy crap, a lot of that sounds very, very, very familiar. So anyway.
Montana Ryan, this was when we had our tomahawks out. He said matching axes,
couple goals. Yep. So.
His has a spike on the back. Mine is hammered on the back. So, and mine's tiny. Mine's the wee one. We have a lot of matching stuff. We buy matching stuff all the time. Like I get the small version of stuff, and he gets the adult version of it.
We were out somewhere the other day, and somebody went, "What do you guys have going on?" And I was like, "We're like buying. What were we buying? Apple pies and Monster energy drinks. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, we're buying this stuff. And she goes,
what was I buying? What was I buying?
What were you buying?
Beef jerky, baby.
Beef jerky, baby. That's right. So, but and then I realized, oh, that's right. We're dressed pretty much exactly alike. Yeah, we're going hiking, ma'am. So, all right.
Cheryl Singh asks, are you going to meet with Black Mass soon? And I like his friend John. I think his name is Paranormal Investigator.
We have actually traded a few emails back and forth with Black Mass. He's a super nice guy.
Very nice. Very cool guy.
Extremely nice guy. It's weird. Like in this field, you meet people and they're either the coolest people you ever met or they're just raging like a-holes for no reason at all. He's in the cool list, man. If you heard, his father passed away, though. We were in the process of trading emails back and forth, and his father passed away, and we have not reached back out to him since then. We probably will once, because I know he's
got to settle out some stuff, and he's really
busy. Some
stuff,
but super nice guy, man. Super nice guy. He's one of the few that are actually out there doing kind of what we're doing.
Just know that our to-do list is this long.
Yeah.
It's like insanely long. We're still doing our investigations at the rate that we're doing them, and we've got all these bigger projects coming up. So we're doing it as we can. We're only two poor little individuals with pea brains, so we can get it done. But it'll take time.
Cheryl wants to know, do you really believe there are dogmen out there?
Yes.
Yes. Sounds crazy. What are they? I have no clue. I've got theories, but I don't think there's any one answer that would maybe cover the entire phenomenon. So I think there's maybe more than one thing going on out there. And I know it doesn't make sense, and that anybody who is a skeptic or just thought the idea was crazy, all of the reasons they would trot out on why they were skeptical about it or why they thought it was crazy, I just have to stand there and go, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. There's still something going on here, though. It doesn't seem physically possible. It doesn't make sense. Something's going on. We're not the people that are going, well, there are these secret government programs or there are these clans coming. I have no clue about any of it. I have no clue. But yes, there's something going on there. I don't know. But yeah, yes, just a resounding yes. So
Robert Randolph asks, this is back to the LBL subject. Do you think dispersed camping in the LBL in a remote area would produce more evidence of Dogman, or would that be more dangerous? I think both.
We have camped there dispersed, though. We never really have anything happen when we're, at least that we know of, while we're sleeping, you know. Yeah. We get most of our stuff when we're moving through the woods. And I don't know whether that makes something curious, whether it pisses something off. Trust me, we would love to be able to set up at camp, build a fire, sit in our chairs, and then just
eat beans
there,
all night.
Eat beans all night.
All night.
And so many beans. Sit there and let it come to us. And it just doesn't ever really, well, not ever. It's very rarely worked out that way. Most of our stuff comes through moving through the woods at night. And I don't know why, but it seems to stir something up. I mean, we're beat to hell after this weekend. I mean, we did like 7-8 miles on an old forestry road that was just rocky. I twisted my ankle. Do
we want to talk about our injuries? Are we listening to the injuries? Can we talk about that? I'm still fighting my poison ivy.
We ran into more this weekend.
We had to remove a tick off of me with a tick key.
What are the name of those weird ass Chinese spiders that we saw?
Juro. The
Juro spiders.
We got to lay eyes on Juro spiders.
Multiple times. They're insanely large, but that would be so much easier just to stay somewhere stationary and do it. It just doesn't seem to work out for us. So, and people can go set up a fake tent. We've done that before. You know what I'm saying? Fry bacon, you know, all these like things to do. I'm just saying that may have worked for other people. It ain't working for us. And I wish it would, because life would be a hell of a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? And my ankle would hurt a hell of a lot less right now.
And we would be eating bacon.
We'd be eating bacon.
I mean, we ate a busted up granola bar on the side of the mountain in the middle of the night.
Martin Groves chimed in.
Hello, Martin.
Manly man bouquet of jerky. So, Martin, there's a lot of people sending prayers your way earlier. You got a lot of people waiting for your return to the public here, buddy. So
I hope you enjoyed your beef jerky bouquet, Martin. It was, I thought that was a good idea.
Jot this down real quick.
Part of our jerky exchange.
Walter Ballard, if you're into the numerology of the 23rd, 11:23 p.m. Saturday night in 24-hour time will be 23:23 on 9/23 of 2023. Did you get all that?
All right. Gotcha. Let's do it.
All right, let's get it. Oh, and it is Barton and Letitia's anniversary. Kid. I forgot to
Happy
tell you that.
anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Let's take a moment to appreciate what a great and patient woman Letitia Nunley is. What she puts up with craziness, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're patient as well, you know what I'm saying? So
I think with them as well as us, there is a back and forth of patience because, like myself, Letitia is a crazy woman, a very passionate, crazy woman who tries to talk sense into a very passionate and crazy man.
A lot of parallels going on.
There's it's a balancing act, and I commend you two for doing it for a while.
All right, and if you're up, I'm gonna give you a call when we're done here tonight, buddy, real quick, because I gotta get to bed because I didn't sleep a lot last night. When I say we're banged up, we were banged up, and it was a rough night on that mountain, man. So,
did you get you were holding the cam when I was crawling under those logs?
Yeah,
right?
I think I got you on there. So yeah.
It was wonderful. Great way to spend your evening.
Alan Laster's got a weird question. What's the difference between a Dogman and a Hellhound? We actually we're thinking about bringing Dark Dives back. And I think one of the episodes that we need to do are the parallels between the modern Dogman phenomenon and then the Black Shuck fetch graveyard dog folklore of like yesteryear. There's a lot of parallels between the big black dog phenomenon and Dogman phenomenon. So they're both attracted to certain areas at certain times. Some of the witness accounts, some of the feelings that witnesses have when they witness these creatures are very similar. So I think that there's some parallels that we could make on that. And that would be that'd be a great show. I think I do a really good job on that.
You do a really good job.
I do a great job.
Is Grace W here to tell Joe he's doing a great job?
Come on, Grace. So, all right. Pork Chop Express. The concept of feral human beings out there scares me way more than Dogman or Squatches. Yeah, and in the one area that we're in right now that we think we're finding Bigfoot activity, we haven't seen a Bigfoot. We've seen some weird stuff. We've caught some stuff on thermal, but we're still not convinced it ain't people out there. You know what I'm saying? And if it's people, they're people that don't have vehicles and they're moving through the woods at night with no flashlights or no night vision. So we're not 100% positive it ain't people out there. So
I am concerned about the people element for the Equinox experiment.
The people element's going to be a little shady.
It's going to be a little touch and go there. We're going to be pretty much on high alert all night, more so than usual, I'd say.
The patron saint of Hellbent Holler, Marcus Aurelius, $9.99 again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Like I said, our next big expenditure for money generated off the channel is we need to upgrade our camera technology and
we need to upgrade our full color night vision.
And then but we need a standard recorder. Then we need a Psionics down the road. We need to upgrade the Psionics.
Yeah.
Have you guys investigated the Martin Groves area? We have been to that area with Martin. And Barton Nunley and Letitia Nunley and
we investigated it by ourselves too.
Yeah, we went and checked it out. And I'm going to tell you right now that we went into it knowing that our minds were already primed. Okay. Because we've heard Martin tell his story publicly and privately several times.
Yes.
And that story is obviously very frightening. Is the word to use for it? It's frightening. It's a frightening story. It's frightening. It's horrifying what he went through. Our minds were kind of like pumped and we were aware of that we were hyper aware going in there. Even saying that, it's a super weird area. I saw something that I thought ran off into the woods, and then I just bust over and ran to where it was.
And I do have the footage of us at Martin Groves, at the site of Martin Groves encounter. I do have the footage of all of that.
Yeah, but we're ready to release it because we don't want to give his site away.
Yeah.
He has never publicly said where that site's at, and we're not going to be the ones to. We might edit it down, let him look at it, because some of it just looks like we're standing next to trees. You know what I'm saying? But I saw something. Or at least I thought I saw something.
Yeah, so I watched that footage the other day, actually, because I was going through some of the old LBL stuff I haven't released. And the footage is crazy because I'm in front and I have the cam and Joe's behind me. And he sees, you can go ahead and say.
I just saw a black shape standing there and then it was gone. And I thought it had ran into the woods, or disappeared or whatever.
So you snatch me.
And we go running towards it. And then I get there and I realize there's a dry creek bed. Right there, like a 9-foot drop. And I'm going, whatever that was just dropped into this freaking creek bed and it's gone. And these creek beds run like so it's crazy. It's a crazy area.
So something could be down in those creek beds because they're super deep. It's sort of like if you watch any of our stuff from the dark corner, that old road bed has these high walls on either side of it. That if you're in the woods and you're looking straight, you wouldn't even know that road was there. You wouldn't even know those creek beds are there. So something could travel through there undetected without a problem.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it until you're right up on it because it just drops straight down.
Geoff F. Could the dog?
It's Jeff. It's just Jeff.
Geoff, could the Dogman be Anubis, Egyptian protector of the dead? There are Dogman reports that have that Anubis look to them. And again, I think that there are several different phenomenon that have physical similarities, and that's what we're lumping in under Dogman. And I think that's why it's also confusing because there's no.
I think it's the same deal with Bigfoot. Too.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all answer for all of it.
Yeah,
you know, so.
I think some of these sightings are getting conflated with each other. That it could be different phenomenon, but we're kind of just putting it under the same umbrella. And I think you've mentioned this before that you think that maybe a lot of earlier Dogman sightings are early Bigfoot sightings, or some of them are misidentified Dogman
because there was no reporting mechanism, and even if you did contact, let's say the BFRO or something like that,
and there's no approximation for it,
and you went
other than Bigfoot.
I saw a large upright canine. It was furry. It was black. It had like pointed ears. It had a dog snout. They would probably go as a Bigfoot sighting. They were mistaken, you know?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of like early Sasquatch reports, or even up until this day, are possibly Dogman, and it's just interpreted and recorded as like a Bigfoot sighting. So.
Brian Wigful. Hey, Jessi, can you please describe what it feels like to be stung by poison ivy? Okay. So I actually.
Do they not have poison oak and ivy in Australia?
They have everything else that'll kill you,
but nothing that mildly inconvenience like this.
I'm not having a mild time. I'm having a terrible time. It's terrible. And it lasts for God knows how long, and then more of it will crop up days later that you didn't even know about. But I'm experimenting with what is it? Hypochlorous acid is what I'm currently experimenting with, and I'm having great luck with it. So. It just sucks. It burns and itches and
it
sucks.
Grace chiming in. Good job, Joe. We expect.
Good job, Joe.
Good job, Joe. I think I'm doing a pretty good job tonight.
Pretty good job.
All right. Mike A said the exact same thing that I said. If Dogman and Bigfoot teaming up on Martin Groves can't take him out, summer cold doesn't. He will beat this, but still just keep him in your prayers.
Summer colds and like summer sicknesses are the worst. Just the worst.
This is pretty good. You know what? This was more up your alley for a show, but it got Robert Johnson, father of Modern Blues, possessed him. Honey Boy says Robert crawled around a few days howling like a wolf and dropped stone dead. Robert Johnson blues and supernatural crossover thing is right up your alley. So Ray Provencio, thank you for that, sir. Some funds for equipment. While stationed in England in the Suffolk area in the late 1987, my wife and I had an experience with what we believe to be a couple of hellhounds. Email my story to you, please do. We actually have a few people from the UK that send us stuff like that. There's still sightings of like the big black dog phenomenon, you know. Shucks, Fetches, Grims. There's like a bunch of just like, like regional names for it, but people are still seeing it. It gets overshadowed because the big black cat thing is what's in all the tabloids nowadays,
That's the hot
cryptid subject. Yeah. Thank you for that, Ray. We appreciate that. Just a couple of Bigfoot weirdos trying to do what we can. So.
Alan Lassiter says, have y'all ever thought about researching the Goatman area? There's 2 Goatman areas, and we have not put either of them on our radar as of yet. So our hands are full with this immediate area right now.
Rob S. has got a good question. What does the Bigfoot community think about you guys and your Hellbenders? I love that you guys think outside the box. They don't think too highly.
Some of them like us, okay.
Some of them like. Actually, what's crazy is I think we're lucky in the ones that we have looked at and just gone, this is fascinating what you're doing. You're not doing normal Bigfoot stuff.
Yeah.
They like us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the standard Bigfoot type people think that we are fake and that we have somehow made everything up. And I start going, well, we have a thermal image. We've got video of that weird anomalous light. We've got the Brown Mountain lights.
Or that we're pagan lib scumbags.
Pagan lib scumbags.
That's another one.
But a lot of the standard Bigfoot type, and when I say that, like the people who just are on YouTube 5 nights a week, they don't leave their houses, but they kind of hate the Bigfoot subject, but they are enmeshed in it because it gets them attention. They don't care too much for us because my big thing is that all these like Bigfoot tropes, and that's something that we were talking about earlier today, that I was listening to something, and I'm not going to go too detailed on it, but a lady was talking about a Bigfoot and it was doing something and she just took after it with a broom or something like that. And I'm going, either this is a completely fake made up. Yeah, exactly. This is either a fake made up story and you're just making this up, or one of two things is happening. Because here's the deal. Let's step outside for a second.
I'm in the woods with a gun and I'm expecting to try to find these things.
And it's horrifying.
And I'm not going after it.
And it's horrifying. All right. You're looking at an 8 or 9 foot tall gorilla looking at you over your hedges. A normal person is going to go, this is terrifying. This is like horror movie, like quality stuff. You're going to be terrified with it. Okay. Or if that's the way it happened, then it's almost like there's some sort of mind control going on or something like that to make you just accept it. You know how you hear on alien abduction cases and alien encounter cases where they know it's completely just out of the ordinary, but they feel okay with it. Everything just feels normal. You know, they're not worried.
So
they're leading me in this craft. They lay me down on this table. And how do you feel? I'm relaxed. Everything just, for some reason, it just feels normal.
It's fine. This is fine.
And I'm going, so we don't really, my long-winded answer for this is we don't really buy a lot of the Bigfoot tropes just because somebody's telling us that's the way it is. We need to experience it for ourselves. I want to see it. Why do you think this? Well, it's just, this happened to me. Can you prove it to me at all? Can you show me any evidence at all? Can you show me how you got from point A to point B? No. Well, then that's great. I'll take your information as a data point, but I'm not going to base everything we do off your data point. Mm-hmm. We're going to develop our own data points. And that's not real popular with a lot of people. A lot of people are very invested in being seen as experts. And that's cool. I'll take your information and we'll take your information into account, but we're not going to base what we do off anybody else's
nonsense
theories. I'm a little more generous than you are. And here's the deal.
But I just, we say this all the time. Show your work.
Show your work. Show me how you got from point A to point B.
I will show. Okay. One of my favorite parts of the Tim Burton Batman movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a segue. Sorry.
When Jack Nicholson is on TV and he tells Batman, he addresses Batman and says, I have taken off my makeup. Let's see if you can take off yours.
Is that your Joker impersonation?
Yeah.
All right, on.
Terrible.
So anyway.
But that's my thing, is to show your work.
Show me your work.
I can show you everything that I've talked about.
We don't know what Dogman is, but we got a thermal image that we have of something that looks like a Dogman in an area, the LBL, where Dogman's supposed to exist. And it behaved in a way that seemed predatory. So that's what I can tell you, and that's all we know. We know that we saw something. We saw something, and we caught it on thermal imager, and it matches up with Dogman. And that's, as we might have theories, but we don't put those forward as like just undeniable truth, So our big thing is show your work, or otherwise it's just a theory like everything else is. Now, keep in mind too, we say this every week. We take a real holistic approach, and we encourage anybody to do anything. If you want to go out and you were always fascinated with people that play drums.
I love the drums.
Yeah, the drumming. If
but
you want to do that,
I'm not talking about like native drums.
Like a whole drum set.
Talking about that dude with the drum set and the snow. I love that. Love it.
Do it. I mean, we're not going to, but just because we're not going to, somebody should. Because
give
that
it
might
a go.
be. Yeah, give it a go.
Go.
Man.
I don't care what you do. Go rub crystals on your nipples.
Jessi's eventually going to try. I'm not agreeing with it, but I know where we're going to. Jessi's eventually going to try like a CE5 type thing for physical
cryptids.
My new term is crypto hominids.
Crypto hominids.
Crypto hominids.
You heard it here, folks.
Crypto hominids. Hidden type of upright bipedal creatures.
Did you come up with that?
No, I stole it from Mac Tony's.
Oh.
Cryptoterrestrials. So
you heard it via Joe from Mac Tony's of Cryptoterrestrials. That's pretty good.
As soon as he said
I like cryptoterrestrial.
Cryptoterrestrial is good, but when he said crypto hominid, that narrows it down that narrows it down
It's more
to
specific
to like a
You're not
physical.
talking about like squonk or something.
No, you're not talking about, but you're talking about, and you're not even, to me, that wouldn't even be like the Hopkinsville goblins, those type of things.
Mm.
Hominid type things, like upright
An approximation.
mammals,
Yeah.
they just, but crypto hominids.
I love
There you
it.
go.
Dig it.
Boy, we went all over the damn place on that question.
E-Rev
Anyway,
says
so
Hellbent Holler is AI. It's a terrible version.
the singularity is here and it's pretty stupid, so.
I hope this is just the beta.
Yeah. Hey, Macerated Plantain.
Macerated.
That was the name of my band in high school. Macerated Plantain. We played the prom. We were awesome. Macerated Plantain is great for poison ivy. What does macerated mean? I don't know what that word means.
Just
crushed up?
Smash it.
Why not just say
it.
crushed up plantain is good for...
You got to macerate it.
Like chewed. Okay.
Don't chew it.
No, but I'm just saying I see the
keep it out of your mouth.
The root word for it now. So
yeah.
Chewed. Damn, we're all over the place. Is anybody even still here anymore? Good Lord.
Cryptid Castleberry says we've got a few cemeteries in Alabama that have hellhound and black dog associations.
Shoot us an email on that and put hellhound black dog in the title.
Yes, I'm working on a project and that would be helpful.
Yes.
We might do a dark dive type project on it, but we might do a physical project on this too. Yep. We might do a field trip.
Alan Lassiter's going to be wearing our shirt at the Westminster Bigfoot Festival, and that'll answer the question about what most of the Bigfoot community. They're just going to go, what's that?
Alan Lassiter, the tallies on the, the stink guys.
Oh, those people? Oh.
Those people.
Moondog Davis has a thing that we've often talked about, that Goatman and Baphomet, same reel, that there's a lot of connection between Goatman and like the traditional just horned devil type thing, man. So, all right.
Mike A says he'll take poison ivy any day over chiggers. I had chiggers from the Uwari. I had a great chigger attack.
I think I had
and I had just gotten over that nightmare scenario.
I think I got chiggers out this weekend.
When I started the poison ivy problem. So it's been a great summer. This is why we're doing more intellectual pursuits last summer instead of going out into the woods and exposing ourselves to the elements. But hey,
Marcus said 10mm check. We can't show our hand. We try not to show handguns on the channel too much.
Definitely can't do that.
Because even when we pulled our sidearms a couple times in the woods. I pulled it when that thing was in the tree.
I edited around it as best I can.
Yeah, just because
we are restricted by the platform.
Yeah,
so
we're eventually going to migrate off YouTube. We'll figure out something.
We'll stay on YouTube to a degree, but I want to do there's going to be there's going to be a place where you all can go to get the real. You know what I'm saying? You get the real stuff, the dirty, the more hellish of the Hellbent Holler.
Daniel Calabrese, if you shoot at one prepared to die, I don't know how I feel about that. And here's for a couple reasons that I've talked about before, is that if you look at, and I know that for every Native American tribe that talked about cannibal giants in the forest, there's one that talked about like forest brothers, okay? Mm-hmm. But there's a ton that talk about cannibal giants.
Yes.
Okay. And they talk about don't leave your fish next to the river after you catch it. Don't leave your deer that you've hunted out, make sure that it's there. Don't leave your women and children alone because these things would come in and take them. Okay. And then somewhere along the lines, a lot of that behavior changed after Europeans showed up on the scene with firearms. Okay. It seems all of a sudden they were not as elusive and they were not as hidden back when it was just Native Americans here. So you had Native American tribes with basically Stone Age weapons.
Yeah.
And these things were more bold, but they weren't invincible even then, because otherwise, when the first European settlers showed up here, they would have found an empty continent. The Native Americans were not predated to extinction here.
Yeah, this was an apex predator that was the top of the food chain.
That supposedly would have just wiped them all out if they were invulnerable. So I think that they were vulnerable if there were enough Native Americans gathered together, and so they were maybe hard to kill. But I think that there's something going on that they just don't do what they want to whenever they want to. Okay. There's still something going on where they have to operate in the shadows to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Okay? And you hear about, well, so-and-so shot them. Well, you know, sometimes people shoot grizzly bears with 9mm and the grizzly bear runs off and dies somewhere else later on. Okay. But you hear people in one breath, people will tell you that they're invulnerable, unkillable, just basically just machines that just can't die, like the Terminator or something like that. And then in the next one, they'll tell you about how, well, you know, they smell your firearms and that's why they stay hidden. Well, then why are they staying hidden if they can smell my firearms? If they're invulnerable, they shouldn't care whether I've got a 22 or a 10mm out here because they're invulnerable to it. So I'm not saying that they can't.
But they show themselves to hunters all the time. Hunters have experiences and sightings of these creatures all the time.
Most of the hunters don't shoot, though. And that
but
you know
they
about.
Can smell your firearms.
Exactly right. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. And then maybe some of them do shoot, and maybe they don't hit it, or it's hard to hit a moving target under stress. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the amount of rounds that are fired, you know, and just like look at Afghanistan. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it was like in the hundreds of thousands rounds fired for every like confirmed like, you know, kill like on the other side. Now you're doing that with like a bolt action deer rifle when you're seeing something that's not supposed to exist.
Adrenaline dump, fear, all of that going on.
But here's the deal, just because it's impossible, don't mean it just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. So I'm not sold that thing is that these things are like unkillable, unstoppable. Arcane discoveries.
I just hit it at the same time.
We're thinking, what have I missed? I'm playing as usual. By the way, the stickers have arrived and they're great.
Look at that. Another happy holler hellbender with their stickers.
Yep. So
that's what we like. That's what we like to see in here. People with stickers on things.
Yep.
We're going to go through those and I'm going to order another round of stickers.
Kinfolk Bakes goes,
bigger ones.
I wouldn't go in without a 10mm just as you guys, after watching the statics on charging bear attacks, I couldn't go to do Dogman. We carry 10mm. We carry Underwood hard cast ammunition. We carry Ashley Extreme penetrators. And then we carry the special ammunition that Barton Groves gave us. You know what I'm saying? So we've got pretty much all bases covered at this point, I think. So
we are prepared for bear.
We are prepared for bear or Bigfoot or Dogman or what do I say sometimes? I'm like, we're running on like the Winchesters out here, man. All we need is like a shotgun with rock salt at this point. So now I want shotgun. I want rock salt rounds for my shotgun now. So Ray asked, do y'all use trail cams? It'd be great to see if something manifests itself during a research. Nowadays, when we use trail cams, we basically use it to make sure that that's an area that nothing goes into. We almost use them like electronic fences.
Yeah.
We've never gotten anything on a trail cam. We've never even gotten anything suggestive on a trail cam.
We were in an area recently that has we found a trail cam out there.
Very weird trail cam.
A very weird trail cam because it's an area where you would not expect anyone to have a trail cam. It's not a
a pretty sophisticated trail cam.
It's very sophisticated and it's not a wildlife management area. And it's way out there. It has a satellite uplink. It has solar. It's functioning because we tested it. And it is functioning. Yeah. But what's interesting is we saw, of course, we walked around behind it. Other stuff is walking around behind it.
Other things are, we found a trail behind it that things are leaving that old forestry road and then moving behind it.
They're walking behind it and avoiding it like we were.
And this ties in with what the Deuster says.
I've not seen any evidence of people up there.
None at
but
all.
Something else is avoiding the trail cam as
well. They know that animals can smell the batteries. They can probably smell the plastic. They know that it's something that's not supposed to be there.
Are they aware of the field of vision of a trail cam?
That's what I'm going to with it, that hey, this side is where the lens is and this is what takes a photo, and you're showing some conscious thought about human
technology,
sociology, basically at this point in technology. Hey, this is a device that they have made that captures images and it's done only from this side, so therefore I'll walk around it.
And this is the field of view that
that's some pretty detailed freaking stuff. So
I just don't think we have an ungulate running around doing that.
So Dewey was talking about how it's possible that Bigfoot can see the IR spectrum, but that's where I'm hung up at, is because no mammals, no warm-blooded creatures can see infrared. Their body heat, if you look at the creatures that can detect infrared, they're cold-blooded. Okay.
Yeah.
Now they think that dogs might have some sort of receptive sensor cells basically in their nose where they can kind of generally detect body heat. And that's something that they're still kind of fleshing out. But as far as, here's the deal, there's a difference between knowing this wall is behind me and knowing it's here even though I can't see it, and then reading the sign behind me. I don't think that they can see an infrared, because if they can, then that definitely rules out the fact that they're from here. So
yeah.
All right.
You want a compliment? I know you do.
Lay it on me.
All right. Urev says, Hellbent Holler has that natural swag, hipness that most of these researchers try and duplicate.
Urev, you silver tongued devil.
Oof.
Damn. Woof.
Oof.
Hey, next week for the tag, you've got to go something with natural swag and hipness. They got that natural swag and hipness. That's
We're
awesome.
not very naturally swag right now, but
No, but anyway. So, all right. What do we got?
Brian, we already did a knife check. Sorry.
Who is it? Who wants it?
Brian Wigful.
Do it again for Brian.
All right, just for Brian Wigful.
We've got tomahawks this week, man.
It's Tomahawk Week.
It's tomahawk season.
You know how Wheel of Fortune will do like Beach Week?
Tomahawk season, man.
It's Tomahawk Week.
We have Macoun tomahawks from a guy whose family is famous for their tomahawks.
Yep,
So,
the dad makes them, and then the two sons make knives and tomahawks. They're a little rustic. They made the tomahawks for that show with Aquaman. What's it? Fill in the blanks for me, Joseph.
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa had a show about fur trappers, Canadian fur trappers. What was that called? Fur trapper. Frontier. They made the tomahawks for Frontier.
There you go.
So that's where you have seen these tomahawks before on the Netflix Jason Momoa's show.
Robert Randolph's got it. How would a cryptid know to avoid a camera if they don't know what a camera actually does unless they're spiritual? But even a spiritual creature, how would they? That's so specific. That shows not only an understanding of technology in general, but then a way to decipher through observation what a particular piece of technology does.
Yeah.
It's not like people are out announcing, I'm going to hang this plastic box. It will take motion activated photos of whatever is 2 to 18 feet in front of it, and they're inferring a lot by just observing, and that kind of takes you out of the realm of an animal at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's some discussion on the macerated part. It's masticate, and then Sheila Ebeling.
That's what I said, like to chew. That's where I kind of got the root.
Sheila Ebeling has this to say that macerated involves exposure to a liquid.
Haha, Sheila Ebeling.
Mm-hmm. So there's
good to see you back, Sheila.
Word of the day.
I saw where you had emailed Sheila, just doing a wellness check on her because we hadn't heard from her in a while. So
Sheila. Boy, everybody's in a Robert Johnson mood right now.
Yeah, Robert goes, you can drop an elephant or a rhino with a gun. You can drop anything. Now, here's the deal. Let's say they are completely invulnerable to gunfire. Then why do they try to stay hidden? Why don't they just walk down Main Street in the middle of the day, snatch somebody off the sidewalk and go? Or if they're not interested in doing that, why don't they just come and go as they please and they don't care who sees them or anything like that at all? There's got to be, maybe it's just a numbers thing. Well, I talked about McTony's earlier, the cryptoterrestrials. His idea is that all of this phenomenon is earthly. It's from this dimension. It's from this planet. It's a sister species that has evolved beside us that is basically in decline, that's a little bit more technologically adept than we are, but we ain't that far behind in technology, and we're catching up more and more all the time. But numbers-wise, we just dwarf them. So basically what they do is that they show themselves occasionally on purpose in ways to basically misdirect us, to basically make us think that there's big monkeys in the woods or there's UFOs coming from out of space. So that way we don't look too closely at what they really are. So
Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus,
We need if we did a
Marcus,
game.
answer your. I emailed Marcus to ask him to send us his mailing address. He never answered.
He probably just read it and just went. I'll super chat him.
What can we send Marcus that he doesn't already have? The man's obviously wealthy. He probably just needs something. He goes, chips some off the gold bars in the basement. That he keeps, hands it to his butler.
We should send him a bronze bust of you. And it says, I'm doing a great job.
I'm doing a great job. I'm doing a great job. So I love how he contributed $4.99 to the hunt just to answer a question from somebody else. So if they have to shoot, it's a last resort to stay alive, whatever the outcome is. Yes, we have talked before. I don't really put a lot of credence behind the gentle forest brother thing. I just don't. I think that I used to, but now I've learned how humanity has this need to Disneyfy things.
Yeah.
And they want everything to be they want bluebirds floating around and singing, and they want Harry and the Hendersons.
We have learned by all of these great stories at all the national parks with the bison, like goring people.
Because they think it's a Disney creature, and they're going to get out and they're going to stand next to, or what I'm really waiting for is the moose population has exploded. So you're starting to see mooses in areas where they normally weren't. And you know that somebody's going to be like, oh, this is so cute. I saw this in, I don't know, some Disney cartoon. Moose are like freaking terrifying. You know what I'm saying? So
say no Bullwinkle, baby.
But at the same
this
token,
is a violent moose attack.
We don't go out there shooting willy-nilly for stuff. You know what I'm saying? If we ever had to pull the trigger, it'd be like as a last resort type thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't picking a fight in the woods with something that I don't understand at this point. So
moose attacks.
Today's Savant, we've really got to get him on a show. Does that wall exist until you perceive it? I did a deep dive on the observer effect the other day, and just going down because he's always going on about Schrodinger's cat and everything like that. So, but I was doing a big thing on the observer effect. Spent a few hours reading on that. So
was it on here or I don't know? Was it something I was reading? I don't even know. It's all blur.
It's all blurs together at this time, man.
I read something that said that like you look at a chair that your mind fills in most of it, that you're not really seeing what you're seeing. It's like your mind fills in a lot of it, a certain percentage of it, that it's just to save energy and save time or something.
There's a train of thought that goes that, I mean, you perceive reality. Okay. Yeah. We have no clue what reality is. We know what our mind presents to us as reality. And we are conditioned, we are evolved to only focus on the things to keep us alive, to propagate the species. Okay. I always talk about how it's different. We're driving a car, but we're not looking out the windshield. We're driving by the instrument panel. Okay. So we know how much gas we've got. We got oil, engine temperature, our speed. We might even have a little compass. We know what direction goes, but we don't know anything else. We're driving by our mind's eye as a dashboard. Okay. And that's why when people just tell me that that's impossible, I'm just going, we're starting to realize that we don't know what reality is, man. We don't really know. And the thing that always sticks with me, remember when they were talking about Skinwalker Ranch and they saw the dogs in trench coats smoking cigarettes?
Yeah.
And Gary Nolan went, that's probably not what they saw, but that's probably their mind saw something completely alien to them. That's how their brain interpreted it, because they were seeing something that their mind had no reference point for. And their mind went, all right, we've got to catalog this real quick and give them a visual representation. It's Bernardo Castro is the guy's name. He talks about how when you put something in the when you delete a file, it's not going into a physical trash can that's located in your computer.
Yeah.
That's a visual representation of a pretty complicated process on your computer. I mean, we do it all the time, but if you were to look at it, it's still pretty complicated. That's a visual representation because we can swallow that. We can understand that. That's all of life. Okay. When you look at a chair, look at what's happening. You were looking at a solid mass of electrons, and its light is coming and it's reflecting off of it. It's going into photoreceptors in your eyes. it's going through synapses in your brain, and then your brain is going, it's a chair, it's got a green back, that's just what your mind is processing to it at this point. So that's why when people go, the whole cloaking thing, I had to come to grips with that. I'm going, it might be possible, maybe they have the ability to mess with the signal from point A to point B, so instead of your mind going, there's a 9-foot tall monkey there, your mind is now just going, there's a blur there. I can't tell what it is. So.
I had a thing. We were looking at those Juro spiders. If you guys are not familiar, there's this spider that is now an invasive species. They're parachute spiders. They can travel 50 to 100 miles on the wind. But we had never seen them out before, and we saw them this weekend for the first time they're in North Georgia, and they're in like the upstate of South Carolina now. But they build their webs in like layers. It's multiple webs in layers. It's like 6 webs basically stacked on top of each other, and their strands are like thread. So we saw them up there, and I was trying to take a photo of it, and I could not get a photo to save my life of this freaking
because
spider.
You made that analogy,
and I said, I was like, I screamed, I was like, I just thought of something. So like, I could not get this photo of this dang spider. Sorry. I could not get a photo of this dang spider because
something is like,
it was focusing on the web.
Even though the web was barely there.
The web's barely there, but it's layers of web between me and the spider, the lens and the spider. There's layers of web. The light was bouncing off of it. My camera could not focus on the spider. No matter what I did, I could not focus on the spider. And I was like, what if this is kind of what happens when you try to take a photo of some of these cryptids? What if they emit something that maybe we can't see, but
causes
the light bounces off of it,
causes the camera to focus on something else.
So it can't focus on that. It focuses on whatever the light is bouncing off in the foreground that these things can emit.
Well, I mean, I always go back to this, that people keep going, everybody's got a cell phone camera nowadays. Cell phone cameras suck they're really good for taking selfies for Instagram. But like if you try there's a reason why wildlife photographers just don't whip out their iPhone and try to take pictures of like, a cheetah, in mid-run at that point. I mean, you need we have specialized camera equipment, and we're at the ready, and we miss stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been able to capture some stuff, but we miss stuff. And then again, we always say we're chasing the phenomenon with tech, because we'll go, what we had couldn't capture it. We need this now. That's how we ended up taking the psionics to Brown Mountain.
Yeah.
We'd gotten the psionics to try to capture ghost lights. And that was a question that an Intense Tornado asked. Do you think cryptids
What a segue.
Look at this, man.
Sure. Yes.
You think I'm joking when I say I'm doing a hell of a good
You
job.
are.
Next level is where I just took it to, kid. Yeah.
You're not doing a hell of a job. You're doing a hell of you're just doing the best at everything at this point.
Anyway, do you think cryptids use ghost lights as lures? I don't know.
Fairies use lights.
Well, fairies are the lights a lot of times. If you look at like will-o-wisps and jack-o'-the-lantern and all that. But I mean, every culture tells you don't follow the lights into the woods.
Yeah.
And either you'll get taken under the hill, or they'll lead you into a bog and you'll drown. But the whole thing with like Bigfoot and orbs, I mean, a lot of people, even flesh and blood Bigfoot people, say that, these orbs are seen around areas where like Sasquatch is. And I'm always just like, all right, maybe the Bigfoot causes the orbs to happen. Hell, maybe they control them. I don't know. Or maybe the orbs attract the Bigfoot, or maybe they're two completely separate phenomena that are drawn to the same place in the same time for some reason. Maybe there's something about that area that draws in, and the orb ain't got nothing to do with the Bigfoot. The Bigfoot ain't got nothing to do with the orb, but they're both attracted there. Okay. They're both attracted there. Almost like a watering hole. Okay. Like a watering hole, like there'd be different types of animals that don't really have any relation to each other than they inhabit the same like biosphere, but they're there for similar reasons. Okay. But they're separate creatures.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on with Bigfoot and the orbs.
Kyle says he makes a hell of a prison shank.
With a toothbrush. If anybody's interested,
I would love a prison shank made from a toothbrush to add to my weapons collection. That'd be good for the collection.
Tennessee Outlaw, thank you. Whom is this magical masked man who goes by Marcus? What?
If only we knew.
If only we knew.
He's a mystery to us all.
What does that mean? Who is masked man Marcus?
Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, Marcus Aurelius. Oh, okay. That guy. Everybody's talking about.
Join the
ghosts.
conversation,
I'm
Joseph.
sorry, I'm behind here right now. Good Lord. Deborah Stewart, thank you. Another great show for whatever you need.
Thank you.
It'll be going towards we're waiting for the psionics to go on sale right now. We're probably gonna grab it.
Yeah.
We need the other camera first.
We need
and
that
then the
other camera
psionics.
first. Yep.
And then we need a drone, and then we need I don't know.
Drone classes for Joe.
What's that?
Drone classes for you. Oh. Dead and Yard Hunt says they are watching you set the cameras. I agree. When you are setting game cams, if you think there's something out there that is watching you, like I think there's stuff that watches us out there all the time. People suggest all the time we do game cams or we do the fake campsite. If there's something out there that knows we're out there and maybe is aware of our presence and is watching us from a distance, it's going to watch us set up a fake campsite.
And they know what a camera is by just deduction, by looking at it.
Well, like if we do this fake campsite thing, I don't know if this is going to work because you set this whole elaborate thing up and then what? We go and cover ourselves in leaves. And they're
watching us do that.
And they're just laughing.
And then they're going to forget we're there.
Yeah.
Because they're so fascinated with this tent, they're going to forget. What happened to those people? I don't know.
Those douchebags just cover themselves with leaves over there.
Thank you again for that, Deborah. I don't want to minimize that. Thank you
Deborah.
so much for that. That's extremely kind and generous of you. We greatly appreciate it. So,
but yeah, I mean, that's my problem with the fake campsite thing. I mean, I guess you would just be assuming that whatever's going to come by will come by later.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's worth a try. Like I said, we don't really poo-poo any kind of experiments that you want to try or do. I don't think we're gonna do what now.
Marcus really is just like, I'll be back soon. I need to count the gold bars in my basement. That'll be the running joke about Marcus now. What's cooking on the griddle tonight, Jessi?
Well, okay, so it is the Equinox. We're not gonna be home for the Equinox because obviously we're going to be in the woods doing this monumental experiment that we have decided to try. When the seasons switch over and we start heading into the season of wither and autumn, we always do a big pot of chili. That is the first meal we always have when we move from summer to autumn here, and we've been doing that for a long time. So I have a giant pot of bison chili.
And since we'll be in the woods living off power bars for 2 days.
I have a big pot of bison chili. I have 5 different types of peppers in it. Tomatoes, 3 types of bean rich society.
Because we will be living off power. We have a extensive freeze-dried food selection stored up here.
But we just don't have time to
We don't have, every time we look at it and we go, we don't have time to mess with this, man. Just grab some power bars. We end up living off power bars.
I do suggest you get those, what are they, Power Crunch?
Yeah,
Robert Irvine's Power Crunch bars from Costco are delicious.
All right, let's switch gears real quick. Walter Ballard had a good thing. Bigfoot and Dogman may just be waiting for the grid to go down. There you go.
Prepper cryptids.
Bigfoots versus preppers.
Is that's a movie, right?
That's a book that
No.
I was reading, Bigfoot versus preppers.
Oh.
And then you thought it said Bigfoot versus peppers.
Yeah, and then Bigfoot it's just a book of Bigfoot eating different peppers that are different levels of heat. Scoville units. Different Scoville units of peppers. And he just goes, ooh, spicy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, of course, not today. Savon's going to explain to me how the trash can process in the computer works. We've got to have a show. So, hey, by the way, when we're talking about hitting buttons, hit that like button for us.
Yeah.
Would that kill you? Yep. Make sure you're still subscribed, since a lot of people got unsubscribed.
Do you want to do last call in a minute?
Yeah, we're doing last call in a minute. Yeah, we're doing last call. Next 10 minutes or so.
I keep trying to not scratch my poison ivy. It's killing me right now. But yeah, let's do last call. If you guys got anything you want to throw out there or throw in there, and let us know. This has been a fun show.
It's been a good show. I didn't think we'd have anything to talk about. Hey, Stephen Tichnell's in here.
Oh, we've always got something to talk about.
Stephen goes, do you think if the Bigfoot has some hollow, clear hairs, it would cause the predator effect if the light is just right? I don't know. I don't know if it, but here's the deal. It seems like this cloaking effect happens day, night, everything like that, Stephen. I don't know if it's a hair related thing, if it's a physical thing that's taking place, or if they're just interfering with the way that we see. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
If there's like maybe like a they emit like an electromagnetic field or something.
Something like that.
Or they emit those microwaves, and then maybe it's auditory and visual hallucination.
Possibly so. I mean, it could be. I mean, there might be some Philadelphia experiment type stuff going on with. So I don't know. But here's the deal. Again, if that's a biological creature emitting that stuff without technology, they're not from here.
Yeah, we got something else going on for sure.
They're not from here. So Rob S is at war with spiders. Everybody's more fascinated with the Joro spider than Dogman right now.
Joro spiders are crazy. My like I said, my parents were here. My dad was reading this article to us on the back porch going, the article says that spiders are our friends. So
Daniel Calabrese, do you guys go out at night on hunts? That's pretty much most of what we do.
Yeah.
Is that we usually go out and we'll scout around during the daytime, and then we'll be out all night long until the sun comes up. And then depending on our schedules, we'll either crash out there or come back home. But sometimes, and lately, we've just gone, let's wait till it starts to get dark and let's show up at dark in this area.
Yeah, and go in kind of
completely blind and see if that heightened sense of like uncertainty and the unknown increases anything. So
yeah, we did that on that one where we got that weird thermal signature of that whatever that was watching us from up in the woods. Yeah.
All right, guys, start to kind of chime in.
The hollow clear hairs thing makes me think about, Project Stargate. They interviewed somebody who claims he was.
You were fascinated with that Stargate stuff, man. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to do a show on it myself if you don't want anything to do with that. But they interviewed a guy who was supposedly a part of Project Stargate, which was the remote viewing project that the CIA did for many, many years. And he remote viewed Dogman. And he said that their fur is clear and acts as some sort of bio armor, and it has different properties that is like a bio armor. So I think that's pretty fascinating.
Intense Tornado. I don't know if you saw that comment or not, but Intense Tornado is actually really into tornadoes and weather systems and whatnot. So I was like, very appropriate username. You need a seismograph for the LBL. Yes. I can't go any deeper than that, but yes, probably. Yes. So yes.
Right now, I'm on the moose mating information.
Need to do a show on moose mating.
The moose maters.
Like a real in-depth, like 8-hour-long show.
We're going to go at like graphic detail on moose mating.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have like little moose dolls, you know what I'm saying?
I want a whiteboard behind me.
Yeah, exactly. You're drawing with like a pointer, you know.
We're giving up the cryptid game. We're going into
mooses now.
All moose all the time. Moose bit holler.
Dead End Yard Hunt wants to know if our shipping information, that P.O. box that you see beneath there, P.O. Box 777, the great city of Pelzer.
Yeah, I kept my P.O. box because I'm not giving up 777.
Because 777 is just too cool. So.
Yeah, not giving up 777.
Cowboy Five Rings is on tour right now, and I got the entire band watching it. Hello, band.
Hello, band.
Hello, band. All right. Marcus Aurelius has yet another question. He just now comment about chili. Chili sounds good. Be sure to crack a few windows open tonight. So,
Joe can eat chili and he perfectly processes it. It's just
I have a very perfect system. There's no waste. I don't even really use the bathroom. Everything is generated. There's not a lot of waste. It's a pure perfect system.
You're such a Dennis.
So. Meandering around with Johnny Jans, maybe certain people have a particular genetic trait that gives them the ability to see these creatures. A recurring theme on this show is Gary Nolan, who does a lot of the UAP work, Stanford professor, and he has determined that people who have UAP encounters or see UAPs, they have peculiarities in the caudate portion of the brain. And it's almost like they are hardwired for the phenomenon. And I said a few weeks ago, they're looking at the brain scans of people who have had UAPs. Nobody's doing that for people who have had Bigfoot encounters. But I almost guarantee you that if they started looking at people that have had credible Bigfoot sightings and did those same tests they would see similar abnormalities in the caudate as to people. I think that some people are just hardwired to see this stuff more so than others. Or maybe they're not even hardwired to see it. Maybe they're hardwired to accept what they're seeing and not try to like rationalize it away.
I would like to see that kind of study done on people who interact with like paranormal entities.
All of it. I think you're going to see the same.
People who,
yeah.
People who can make contact, people who do remote viewing successfully. I would like to see the same kind of study done on that. I know that they're doing it with the UAP stuff, but that'd be cool to kind of expand it out to other phenomena.
Boy, a lot of people are really appreciating the excellent job that I've done tonight. Grandson Ozzy Wayne was born Tuesday. I need help.
Ozzy Wayne, yes.
Ozzy Wayne, that is awesome. All right.
I can probably, I wonder, all right, let me see what I can do.
Marcus Aurelius is along with it. Bigfoot hairs might be environmentally reflective to blend into the surrounding environment.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are punching out. I think we're probably wrapping it up here in a second as soon as I get to the bottom of the chat.
I know. I'm trying to
Thank you, Arcane Discoveries. Daniel, we are out weekly.
Yep.
We are out. We are out. We tried to mix our schedule up a little bit so that we're not too predictive, but.
And our locations. Yeah.
Love you too so much. I haven't had this much brain stimulation in a while. Brain stimulators will be the tag next week. Joe and Jessi, brain stimulators. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's get the hell out.
I'm here to massage your cortex with my words.
So thank you all so much tonight, everybody.
Yeah, this is a really cool show. That was really awesome. You guys are always really just bring the heat. You bring the heat when it comes to this. We come in kind of with this small, loose idea of what we want to kind of talk about.
We didn't even cover most of the stuff that we were prepared for.
We didn't. No, but that's okay because who gives a flying. But yeah, you guys come in and just like get us on these topics, and we all go, and it's awesome. We really appreciate you guys being a part of Hellbent Holler Live and these weekly hangouts that we do. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna go over this stuff again. Just
make sure you are subscribed. Please
make sure you're subscribed.
Still subscribed.
Let's go over all of this other stuff again. Just a little housekeeping. This Friday at 11 p.m., we are going to be on Paranormal Roundtable with Josh Turner. We're going to be on there. We're going to be on the show. I don't know how long we're going to be on the show.
Don't even know what we're going to talk about.
Don't even know what we're going to talk about. But you know what? We're going to be there.
Josh was kind enough to invite us to the conference in Texas, but I couldn't break away from work. So
we're doing the show.
We're doing the show.
It's going to be Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in to the Paranormal Roundtable and check us out on there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll be the paratroopers and the Hellbenders.
Yeah. So make sure you guys show up for that and, get in the chat and have a lot of fun. And directly after that, we're going to run into the woods.
We're literally leaving and then grabbing out. We may not even be in studio if we can. We might have to come back to be in studio, but
might have to be in studio, yeah.
Because there's not a lot of signal up there, but we might have to come back to do studio, then jet back up at that point.
Yes. So that's what we're gonna do.
Grace, thank you for that $10.
Thank you, Grace.
Before the curtain fell. I love Mondays because of Hellbent Holler.
Also, if you have not gotten your tickets or booked your room for the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con in Montgomery Bell State Park, October 14th and 15th, featuring us, Hellbent Holler, and headlining the event is Ron Moorhead, the man himself who recorded the Sierra Sounds in the 70s at the Sierra Camp in the Sierra Nevada mountains. He'll be talking about the quantum Bigfoot and his adventures. And Ron is an all-around really cool, awesome dude who really has brought a new perspective to the Bigfoot world. And so make sure you go into the description below, hit that link. You can buy tickets there to attend that conference. Montgomery Bell State Park is a cool state park. We're going to be there all weekend, so you can come and hang out with us, and we're going to bring some goodies up there. And if you are a Hellbender and you're attending, please email us. And in the subject line of your email, say that you are attending that conference. That way we have kind of an idea of who else is coming out, because we're going to have little goodies for everybody, I think, for the Hellbenders.
Yep.
And that's going to be a hoot and a holler as usual. Anything else, Mr. Joe?
I got nothing.
Cool. You can follow me at Hellbent Jessi on Instagram. You can check us out here at the channel, Hellbent Holler, hellbentholler.com. I'm going to put up a link on the website tonight, I think, for the tickets. But go in the description below. The link is there. You can do it from there. If we don't have anything else, I think we're going to call it a night. We're going to go eat some chili and get ready to face the day. So you guys have a badass week. Do all of what you do the best you can. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a good week.
Very inspiring.
Very inspiring. That's me.
Inspiring.
Inspiring. All right, here's some cool music. Hope you guys enjoy it. And have a great day.